Perfect pairs is where we try and find two players with the first two picks for each team that would be a perfect fit for that team in the draft. We'll start here, NFC South, and you're up first here, Bucky. The Buccaneers, they picked 9 and 39 last year, last place in the division, 6 and 10, but a lot of young talent on this team.
A lot of young talent. The offense is really coming together. Jameis Winston, you have the weapons on the outside. They re-signed Doug Martin, so you feel good about that side. They need to bring that defense up to snuff to give them a chance to compete. I believe they have to address the pass rusher position and have to look at cornerback. So as a pass rusher, I'm going to go with Shaq Lawson. Shaq Lawson coming from Clemson. Guy's an edge rusher, a guy that can set the edge on the run game, but also has some nice hand skills. Love the way he's combative at the point of attack. Does a great job of winning with a variety of techniques. He is going to be a guy that I think is really going to be a double-digit sack artist at the next level.
I go Tamba Ali with my comp there.
That's a nice comp.
He's not quite as explosive as Tamba was coming out, but just kind of square power rushers, similar in that regard.
Love the way he uses his hands, and when you hear Joey Bosa talk about Tamba Ali's hand skills, I can see that comparison because he has some of the best hands. He and Joey Bosa in terms of being able to play with technique. They do a great job at the point of attack when they're there.
All right, pick number 39 to pair up with Lawson. You got who?
I'm going to go with Artie Burns, cornerback from the University of Miami, a guy that's really getting staked late. Super explosive athlete. Like in high school, this guy was a 3-time state champion in 110-meter hurdles, continued to run track at Miami. Hurdle guys are the best athletes on most track teams. And so when you look at that kind of athleticism playing in the secondary, I think he's long, he's rangy, does a great job getting his hands on the ball. 6 interceptions last year to lead the ACC. He is a guy that I think would be a nice fit in Mike Smith's defense because they can play a lot of zone, a lot of cover two, put their hands on people, and then fall back and find their eyes on the quarterback. He should be good at that.
No, he can go get the ball back. I wish he was a little bit more physical. That'd be my one concern there with Burns. His size, he doesn't really play to that at all times, especially in the run game.
Yeah, now he needs to be a guy that kind of mixes it up a little bit more, but in terms of the prototype, the physical dimensions, he certainly has all those things to kind of come off the board right there at 39.
All right, next up here, I'm on the board here. The Saints 7 and 9 last year. Got to find them a couple players, picks 12 and picks 47. Let's start off at pick 12. Let's give him another wide receiver to team up with Brandon Cooks, get some more size. Laquan Treadwell. I think he's going to be there all day long when they pick at 12. That's probably maybe 10 the Giants would consider him, but I think he will be there. Give them some size, especially down in that red zone. Jimmy Graham no longer there. They missed that last year. I think having some size will really, really benefit Drew Brees, especially when you get down there, red zone and third down.
I think he would be good. I think he'd be a perfect replacement for Marcus Colston. I can see him doing a lot of the similar things that Colston did in the slot, being able to work the middle of the field, being able to be a factor in the red zone. It should be good. I like their two young players on the outside, Cooks, Chet, Snead. Those guys being able to win one-on-one on the outside, but to create space for Laquan Treadwell should be good.
All right, let's go find a pass rusher, and let's go find some blue turf. Camelake Correa here at pick number 47 is one of my favorite players to watch in the draft out of Boise State. Literally does play with his hair on fire. He is fun to watch, man. He's got a lot of production as a pass rusher. You see him, they'll move him around in different areas. It's the run. He's got some shock in his hands, and he will give you unbelievable effort from the backside to chase and make plays. I'm a big fan of his. I've kind of said he's kind of like a poor man's Clay Matthews, the way he reminds me of him coming out. I think his best football is ahead of him.
No, I think his best football is ahead of him. When you looked at the last 2 years, he's had 19 sacks. He's done a great job of doing a bunch of different things in Boise State's defense. I like the versatility. A creative defensive coordinator can kind of use him and move him around to really enhance their sub package. He is a good player. He's one of those guys that we kind of talk about being a sleeper, but I find more and more people talking about him, so I don't know if he's a sleeper.
I think he's going to, I think he will go right in that range. Pick 47 or before, high second round. All right, Atlanta Falcons, Bucky, pick 17, pick 50, 8-8 football team last year. Give him some help.
Dan Quinn has to continue to get this defense to play faster, more athletic, more explosive, to be able to create the turnovers. Darren Lee is a guy to me that is a perfect fit at that weak side linebacker position. See ball, get ball, defense, explosive athlete, has great instincts, has the versatility that you look for, being able to get home and get to the quarterback, but also is rangy enough to play in the slot and to cover those receivers. You get him with his reactions, I think the defense plays faster, and now you begin to have a defense that looks like the defense that Quinn left when he left Seattle.
Yeah, run and hit player. Plays like he's 215, 220 pounds, almost 240 pounds. So
I'm surprised at how big he is.
Oh, yeah. He's a fun player to watch. All right, pick number 50. They're going to double down on defense?
I think they will double down. And, a lot of the focus in the offseason has been on, they need to get a pass rusher. But I'm going to say they can go inside. Rashad Hageman has been an up-and-down player. I think they go inside. They add a guy like a Kenny Clark from UCLA. Athletic, versatile, can play multiple positions along that defensive line. When I go back and I look at what Quinn was able to do with the Seahawks, it was having a lot of players up front that could move around and do a bunch of different things. Kenny Clark is a guy that could do that for the Falcons.
Team him up with Grady Jarrett, another young player.
Yep.
We liked last year. All right, Bucky, let's move on now. The team that won this division, the Carolina Panthers, pick 30, pick 62. At pick 30, I'm going to go ahead and give him Carl Joseph, the safety from West Virginia. I know he's coming off the injury. He's one of our favorites we talk about in this draft class. Kind of, again, a poor man's Earl Thomas in that he's a little bit undersized, but he plays bigger than that. He's got unbelievable range from the middle of the field. He's got ball awareness, and he will knock you out if he gets the opportunity over the middle of the field. He is a stud. He's one of my all-time guys just in terms of you watch him, and some guys you can just tell even there's no volume when you're watching tape. But this guy brings energy and excitement to a defense.
He brings energy. This is a defense that obviously plays like one of the best defenses in football. In the back end, though, they've been lacking. Had Roman Harper back there. Kirk Coleman has been good the last 2 years. But I still feel like they need an energetic player. Trey Boston has come in, but is not quite the guy. I like where he goes.
All right, and the next pick, you see him here. Carl Nasib with the second-round pick number 62. One of the most skilled pass rushers, ultra productive. Everybody knows the story about him. His brother, the quarterback that's with the Giants, that played at Syracuse. But this is somebody that walked on at Penn State, has had to earn his way and really blossomed late in his career. 6 foot, almost 6'7". He's got long arms. He knows how to use them. He gives him some more edge rush to team up with those stud D tackles they have.
You know, blue collar guy off the edge, can team with Coney Ely, but the value that he brings to the table, he doesn't have to jump right in. They brought Charles Johnson back, so Charles Johnson can still start on that left defensive inside, allow Nasib to kind of work his way into the rotation before he gets in there. They need to find another young pass rusher. This could be the guy.